Hello, howdy, sup, alright mate, aloha, g'day! This is Travel Tuesdays for Foodie fans. Bryce Morrison is your host and I'm Carla, your colorful commentator. However you greet your friends, we're excited you're here for the journey as we take you across these United States and around the world to find the very best in food and wine. Join us every Tuesday as we interview foodie travelers, award-winning bartenders, restaurateurs, and more to find out their go-to bars and restaurants and how to find them. Enjoy the show!
Hello, foodie fans, and welcome to another episode of Travel Tuesdays for Foodie fans. We're happy you're here, and we're even happier to have our next guest. He is in the studio. We're going to bring him on in just a moment. He's going to do most of his introduction because he knows himself better than I do. However, I can tell you that he is the Chief Adventure Officer of U.S. Cable Tours. And I know that kind of sounds a little mysterious, but believe me, it will totally make sense once you understand what he actually does. So without further ado, here is Wayne.
Hey,
Welcome
guys.
to the show, Wayne.
Hey, Bryce. How's it going? Hey, Carla. Thanks for having me today. Look forward to talking about some food, some fun, and some adventure. And I guess a little bit about myself is I'm a middle-aged guy with a rambunctious family that loves to travel, loves to experience life. And after a career of doing some extremely high-level business consulting and writing a few books, becoming an international best-selling author, and a couple other things, I hung it all up because I love to travel and I love to spend time with my family and I love to hang out with really cool people. So I actually started a travel company called U.S. Cable Tours. Where now, as the Chief Adventure Officer, I get the privilege of taking people to crush their bucket list and live out their dreams on a daily basis.
That sounds fantastic, Wayne. So tell us, where are you from? How did you end up in Orlando?
Well, I'm a Florida native. I'm
Okay.
one of a few. I was born and raised here in the Orlando area. I have seen numerous changes from kind of the early days of Disney World to what it is now in the tourist scene here in Central Florida, as well as I must say my younger years were like around the heyday of like MTV Spring Break over on Daytona Beach, and I don't know, been blessed to live in a very fun place. But also when you live in a place that's as like highly kind of, I don't know, like kind of too like extremely touristy, you really begin to love the little things you find that aren't anything that are like hyper local. So, because you can get a snow globe, the same snow globe anywhere in the world is what I always joke. To me, it's whenever I travel, whenever I experience anything, or whenever I invite somebody here to Orlando, like for our company, it's about putting them on a hyper local level to experience the roots of Florida, the best that Florida has to offer. I mean, you're a cruise planner, so people tend to use Florida like as a stopping point, to hop on a boat and go somewhere. Well,
Sure.
what are you going to do the 3 or 4 days while you're waiting on your boat, or the 3 or 4 days afterwards? Are you going to see Florida, or are you going to say you've been to Florida? Two totally different things.
Absolutely. So I imagine, and based on previous conversations, when you talk about hyper local, you're also talking about food, right? That's why
yeah.
you're here. That's why we're both here. Food.
Well, as you can see, the camera does add a few pounds, but those pounds
Doesn't always, yeah.
those pounds have been earned well, and
There's a reason I'm so low in the camera.
and I enjoy food. I think anybody listening to this obviously enjoys food, and dining is certainly something that is a part of what makes travel great. It's a part of what makes your local area great, and so you got to get out and experience it. I mean, the chain restaurants, they're the same everywhere around the world. In an Outback here.
Well, they're a little different, areas of the world sometimes, but
yeah, a little different. But like McDonald's, for instance, it's everywhere. And
yes.
While I love McDonald's in Mexico, I don't care much for it here in the States. And when you get on other parts of the world, they call it Mackers. You're like, what is Mackers? Well, that's McDonald's. But then Outbacks and Olive Gardens and what have you, they're pretty close to the same thing. And so for me, I want to be eating, at grandma's kitchen, eating something I have no idea what it is and just hoping it tastes amazing. And then those things get stuck in your memories forever.
Somebody threw me, one of our guests threw me for a loop a couple of weeks ago. Tommy, he talked about the fact that he goes down to Mexico City all the time. Mm-hmm. And as he was talking, he nonchalantly just threw out there that they would eat at Chili's. That one blows my mind. I mean, of all places to have a Chili's in Mexico, that surprised me.
Yes, in the Mexico City airport, it is your kind of primary dining choice, believe it or not.
That's crazy. In the airport, maybe, but he was talking about in a mall.
Oh, yeah. A mall here is the same as a mall just about anywhere else. Sure. We were in the Philippines, went to the mall. They had Sparrows, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken. No Chick-fil-A, and while a lot of the people that we met there were like, "Oh, we're going to get pizza at the mall because we know what it is," I'm like, I could eat that anywhere. Yes. I'm going to go eat something that might kill me.
Amen. I'll drink for that. And, by the way, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight I have a little house-made sangria. We have a close friend here that a couple times a year will do a nice little sangria, and if you're on the good side of you might end up with a couple of bottles on your porch waiting for you to get home. So
how do you meet this friend? I'm asking for a friend.
You just got to come hang. That's how it works.
We'll have to work on that.
And one thing I've learned in life is at the end of the day, everything is based on relationships. And you bump into cool people, just like we bumped into each other a while back. And either you got the right vibe or you don't, and you become part of the tribe. So cheers.
Cheers. I'm drinking a Sazerac tonight. You ever had a Sazerac?
Can't say that I have. So what is that consisting of?
So have you ever had an old fashioned?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so a Sazerac is a close cousin to the old fashioned. It actually, you know what absinthe is, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you rinse the glass with absinthe so that you get that aroma and a little bit of the flavor. Most of the rest of the recipe is very similar to an old fashioned, but it's just a little different.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have patience for all that.
I don't either. That's why I have heard.
Well, next time we get together, I'll have one of those.
Yeah. There we go. Because if it was up to him, he'd just be drinking beer with a straw.
Well, I may resemble that remark.
That's if I could get it open. I might need help.
That's true. That's true. So
I changed my background here because we actually had guests over for a dinner party, and we made a peach watermelon sangria.
Ah.
And that's what you see in the background there is our peach watermelon sangria.
Ah, well, that sounds.
It went really well with our appetizer.
Well, that sounds. That's okay. I was like the background. Got it. Well, that looks quite yummy, actually. So
very refreshing,
and
especially on a hot summer day.
Absolutely. Well, we went to a wedding in Alabama last weekend. I've been doing some rental house rehab in the COVID-19 downtime. Haven't really had any amazing dining experiences, unfortunately. Although I did hit this sweet little local cafe somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. I think it's in Union Grove, and it was like grandma's breakfast. Fried potatoes, everything, like you can just feel your heart skipping a beat as you eat it, and just total comfort food. So I think that'd probably be the highlight of the last couple of weeks. But
so I assume you like barbecue then?
I could probably polish off a little barbecue. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to invite you over the next time we throw something on the grill. I use a smoker. So over the weekend we smoked a Boston butt.
Nice.
And, it came out really good. We're still eating it. Nachos and sandwiches.
Oh yeah, I love to do a nice rub on the rub the butt. There you go. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rub the butt.
Rub the butt and use a pecan wood and slow smoke it. And I usually like to slide a brisket on the rack beneath it, so you get that nice pork juice dripping into your brisket, and goes really well together. So
unfortunately, my smoker is actually not a vertical smoker. Otherwise, I would do that. That sounds amazing.
Absolutely.
But I love to make brisket too.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. So, but yeah, love barbecue. Love food. And I think food is a big part of why I love to travel. I mean, just it's the random things that you only know what you know and what you've already experienced. And you go somewhere totally new and somebody introduces you to something and you're just like, you have to make the decision, will I eat that? and I've eaten some things that I question, why would I eat that? And and some of them, quite frankly, just really surprise the dickens out of you. So
give me an example. Can you think of something off the top of your head?
Scorpions.
Nice. Where was that?
That was in Beijing. We were on a trip. We went over to the Philippines. We were there for a couple of weeks for the Wakeboard World Championships that my daughter was competing in. And we had a lot of amazing food, lumpia, a million different pork dishes and all kinds of things off street, Asian street food in the Philippines. But we got to Beijing. They have this one street. I can't remember what it's called. But it's just all this normal to them, weird to us food. Right. And a lot of it was insect based. So the first thing we ate was this big candied apple that was amazing. Then we went through the fruit section. Then we get into the bug section. And our guide said, she's like, "Oh, these are a delicacy." And the first thing was silkworms.
Okay.
So have you ever had a silkworm?
I have not.
I don't recommend it.
But it's a delicacy, don't you know?
Yeah, it's a delicacy, but my palate just wasn't quite there. And something about the squishiness of it just was everything horrible you thought it would be. So then the next thing was scorpions, and I was looking at my daughter and I was like, well, we ate that nasty thing. We might as well pound down a scorpion or two. So we bought this skewer of fried scorpions, and she had a skewer, I had a skewer, and we popped one off and ate it. And we both looked at each other with amazement. They absolutely were amazing. And so from such a wretched experience with the silkworm to this, oh my gosh, and eat all of them and want more experience with scorpions, all within a relatively 5 or 10 minute period.
So scorpions in Beijing, got it.
But see, you said they were on a skewer, so basically they were on a stick. Anything that's on a stick is immediately 20% better.
Except butter. Butter's not better.
Not silkworms.
I know, you should put it on a stick and deep fried. It might be delicious.
It was on a stick. It was deep fried. I'm just saying. I mean,
okay.
Some of your listeners might really enjoy them. Okay,
but imagine how bad it would have been if it hadn't been on a stick.
Yes. 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 They might have had to bury me under the wall there. But scorpions there. What else? I don't know. Chupalinas in Mexico, grasshoppers, that's pretty common. What are some other random things? I don't know. Our motto is, if it looks reasonably good, you eat it.
Have you ever had rattlesnake?
I have not had rattlesnake, but I would definitely do some rattlesnake.
It's actually really tasty.
And
that's a Texas thing.
I've had turtle.
I've had turtle. Yep.
Turtle, alligator, frog legs, rabbit, goat. I haven't had guinea pig yet. I'm looking to go to Peru so I can do some guinea pig. But whatever the local fare is, I'm down for it. Mexico, I think I've eaten so many interesting things in Mexico that I to this day I don't even know what they are. It was just good. It was just good. And you're like, okay, I'll eat that too. And they just bring you things, And so I'm in some ways, I'm a yes man. Just will you try this?
Thank
Yeah, sure. Like,
So my brother was about 10 years older than me. And so I was a little kid visiting him. And he had moved out on his own, and I was young visiting him. And I was hungry. He gave me this stew, said, "All right, go at it." All right, fantastic. I'm sitting here eating it. He's like, "What do you think?" I said, "Oh, it's fantastic, especially these sausages." He said, "Oh, you like those, huh?" I said, "Yeah, they're amazing." He said, "You know what those are?" I said, "Nope." He said, "They're Rocky Mountain oysters."
Hey, those things are amazing.
They are.
I had them in Colorado.
There are a lot of people out there that probably have no clue what Rocky Mountain oysters are. I didn't know what Rocky Mountain oysters were.
Well, I knew what they were when they were served to me, and it was mentally the toughest thing I've ever eaten. Because my brain,
he told me what they were, and I said, "Okay," and I ate some more.
Yeah,
it's food. It's food,
and it's damn good food.
It is. Yes, it is amazing.
But mentally, the brain is like, "No, we are doing this."
I'm sure there's something out there that mentally I would struggle with a little bit, but right now I can't think of anything. I'll try.
Yeah, I mean that. I think that's just part of experiencing new things in life is what keeps us going. It keeps us looking for the next thing. So, yep.
What specifically would you call hometown then? It is Florida, but
I'm downtown Orlando. I am right I'm right in the Mills 50 district.
Oh, nice.
We are we are foodie central.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have the best dining in my zip code of anywhere in Orlando. Then second would be Park Avenue, Winter Park. If you want any form of Asian food that is totally amazing, it's 2 blocks from my house. And then we have we have a mom and pop scratch kitchen around the corner called The Strand, literally 2 blocks down.
Right.
You walk down there, everything's locally sourced. The menu is constantly changing based on what the local farmers have. And the chefs absolutely know what they're doing. And it's reasonably priced. So like all those things like really hit all, check all the boxes. And then also we have, I'm not a big brewery guy, just bad experiences when I was younger. So, but I don't know how many breweries we have on Virginia now, but
right.
I believe we might have 20 places to have a beverage in one night within like a block or 2.
There you go. And then you go over to Ivanhoe district and you've got even more.
Well, because they start on 1792, like the Mills 50 side. And then you walk down Virginia and end up on the Ivanhoe side.
Yeah.
So, all of that street can be a wonderful or painful experience, or both.
All right. So we'll go Central Florida. In all of Central Florida, if somebody came up to you and said, "I need the best food there ever was," what would the restaurant be?
Wow. In Central Florida, because it all depends on like what are you feeling. I mean, the beauty of Orlando is you can literally have every cuisine known to man in Orlando. We have true African restaurants, like Ethiopian restaurants and what have you. Of course, we have all the island foods. We have you're really putting me on the spot here. But favorite food, I would say my most like consistent food would be the Greek Corner in Ivanhoe Village. We've known the family for 15 years. You're going to get extremely Mediterranean service. But if you order the Mediterranean stuffed chicken, it's going to roll your socks up and down. It's stuffed with artichokes and spinach and feta cheese with a nice lemon cream sauce and with a bed of rice, and you're just in heaven. But if I want to go a little higher end, I'm going to end up either at Sushi Pop or the Ravenous Pig.
So interestingly, I think the last place that we went to anywhere in that area for food was actually the Greek. What's it called? Greek Palace?
The Greek Corner.
Greek Corner. Mm-hmm. We went there for dinner. I think that's the most recent anywhere in that area. The Ravenous Pig, we've been there as well, but it's been a very, very long time for the Ravenous Pig.
Mhm.
It's hard to go get barbecue when you can make barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little lineage. Luma is like the signature restaurant on Park Avenue. And Chef Luke is like he's a phenomenal chef. So
Right.
he has been over Luma and a couple of other really really amazing restaurants. The kinds of places like every bite just gets better than the next, right?
I'm forgive me. I was thinking of, because you were talking about Mills 50, I was thinking of Pig Floyd's.
Pig Floyd's. Yeah.
Ravenous Pig,
Ravenous
yeah.
Pig.
We actually went there not too long ago too, and it's elevated. It is
Yeah.
very nice. Yes.
You know, I to this day I remember the first meal I ever had there. Like that's how good it is. Because I can't remember things like there's only a handful of places where I remember what I ate there. And
Fantastic bartenders too. Great.
yeah.
There.
So we had a salmon dish with a cold smoked watermelon and green tomato relish on top of it. And
Nice.
OMG, was it freaking amazing. And so, super yummy. And but Chef Luke has spawned off these other chefs. So like Sushi Pop, phenomenal sushi. Then we also have Ravenous Pig, that the chefs there came like are students of Luke. So like there's this nice lineage of chefs that have come up, through Luma, that have opened up their own restaurants, and they're all just top notch. I would put them up with the best places I've eaten in the world. And and to say that, I mean, I used to do business travel and eat at fancy, amazing places every night of my life. And to say that I would eat on Park Avenue over most of those places, says a lot.
It's interesting you say that, because Orlando, Central Florida in general, doesn't really have a reputation outside of Central Florida for food.
Mm-mm. Well,
And part of that is it's theme parks and
yeah.
I drive, but over the last, I'd say probably 10 years, maybe even just 5 years, the food scene in Central Florida has blown up.
Absolutely. I mean, we have two things happening. We have really amazing food coming in, but then we also have like perceived really amazing food coming in, where they'll really doll up a restaurant, make it super trendy and look cool. But then you go and eat there, it costs $35, and you're like, that wasn't so hot. You got to really read the reviews, and you got to really just, because we have so many choices, you got to really wait till you let some of your friends guinea pig it. is what I always do. And I'm not the first to go into a restaurant. I'm usually the if 4 or 5, like when you ask them, oh, you guys ate there, how was it? They go, oh, it was good. I'll never eat there. we have 1,000 good restaurants.
Gotta blow your mind.
But if they go, oh man, it was great, and 2 or 3 people say that, I'm all in. And
I hear you.
It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with the food scene, with what's been going on, because a lot of the restaurants have really been, unfortunately, the deal. And
Yeah.
those that are opening up, I mean, we've really, as a family, concentrated on our local favorites, spending our money there and helping them stay afloat. Tornatori's over on Edgewater, best Italian food in town. Handmade pasta, pizza that rolls your socks up and down, and a chef that puts new things on the menu on a daily basis. Like, what more could you want? And it's not going to break the piggy bank either. We're blessed. We have a great food scene here. And, I encourage people to, when you're in the Mills 50 district, the worse it looks, the better it is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'll
agree with that.
If it looks sketchy, it looks like they haven't updated it in 40 years, eat there. It'll be amazing. Because they haven't needed to do any of that to stay in business. And, we got a lot of great noodle houses and other things. So,
sure. So we actually, next week, we have Rick from Kiwi's Pub and Grill on the show, and they're one of those locations that you're talking about. They were hit hard. They had a problem once we reopened. They had some people that were infected, and they had to close back down and sanitize, and they're handling it. But the integrity, the fact that they were open and honest about it has been phenomenal.
Yeah, Kiwis people are Kiwis people. I mean, it's a locally supported establishment. It's a home bar. I've played foosball there many a times with some of my Altamont friends, and Ubered home. So
They've got some decent food too.
Yeah, and the food's good too.
They do pretty good. Great Super Bowl party.
It's I mean, I think for me, like with what we do with US cable tours, when people come in, we're putting them on trips that are exactly how I would vacation as a local. If I had to do Florida, this is what I would do as a Floridian. And part of that is you're getting ingrained in nature. You're part of getting ingrained in nature, and it's being on that hyper local level where you walk into the place and it's kind of like everybody knows your name, like Cheers, and because you're traveling with a local, you walk into these places and you kind of get the inside track on an amazing experience that if you just walked in otherwise, like you wouldn't have, and on these, like, one of our trips, it's 8 days and 7 nights, and we'll be in the Florida Everglades having swamp cuisine is what I call it, and alligator and swamp cabbage, and a true like real Florida experience. And then the next night you're over in Miami and you're on South Beach and you're drinking way too expensive cocktails and a lot of them till 5 a.m. And but we hit up a restaurant in Hialeah where nobody speaks a lick of English. It's like being literally it's like being in a different country. And mom and grandma are back there cooking, and the Cuban food is just unbelievable. And to where then you're hitting up local barbecue joints that you would never know about as a tourist, but the guy that came from a food truck, a little trailer, now has an amazing barbecue shack, and so you feed him some hyper local barbecue, and it's about sliding into the spots that truly introduce Florida and Florida cuisine, the way a local would experience. So that's like we met up the other day. You're like, we're going to this pub. Why? Because it's specific and local to the area. You can go to World of Beer anywhere, so.
That's absolutely true. I remember when you and I first met, you were talking about the Everglades and some of the places that you've gone down there, and you were talking about some of the food, and it brought me back to when I was passing through the Everglades, and I stopped at this place that was out in the middle of nowhere, and they had airboats going out of the back door, and when you walk in, everybody looks at you like, who are you? Because it's all locals.
Mm-hmm.
And that food was unreal. It was so good. The best frog legs anywhere. It was awesome.
Absolutely. And and then there's places where like literally you go out and you catch your dinner, and then they prepare it for you when you get back on shore. If you're local, you know where that place is. If you're a tourist, you might stumble across it,
Absolutely.
And we're down in the Keys, we get that experience, and it's Florida can give you the best of the world in one peninsula. You get the island life down in the Keys, you get with that island cuisine and conch salad and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get out in the Everglades and you're like in the bush or whatever, I don't even know what to call it, and then of course you get the theme park land in Orlando. And then, our beaches vary from just coast to coast, depending upon how you're feeling. What kind of beach do you want? We've got it. So I've got one for you based on where you live. Have you ever been to the Red Wing in Groveland?
I have not.
Put it on your list.
Red Wing in Groveland.
On 33.
Yeah. On 33. Yeah. That's 33 in Colonial? 50? Very close to there.
Not that far up, but yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. They got chickens running around and stuff outside, but
Nice.
Yeah,
Red Wing.
been there forever. Local staple.
Carla's taking notes over on the corner. Yeah, that's my secretary over there.
I believe they have roadkill on the menu.
Nice. I'll try it. She's from the Midwest. She's already eaten it.
Yeah.
Okay, so true story. Literally, my aunt hit a deer.
Well, you're supposed to strap them to the hood.
So she hit it with her car, and they called the cops, and the cops is like, well, it's still good. You want it? So they called my dad, and my dad field dressed it, took it home, and we ate it. So literally, it was roadkill.
Nice.
It was delicious.
My wife just texted in. She said, have you been to Yellow Dog Eats?
Yes, all the time. Every chance we get. I want to get the owner of Yellow Dog Eats on the show. I really, if we can get in touch with them, I'd love to have them on the show.
He's a super chill guy.
Absolutely amazing.
Busy guy, but super chill guy. So
sure. Yeah.
We know him through the wakeboarding community. So
nice.
A lot of wakeboard after parties kind of end up over that way. So, but
it's just such a great place. Just the place alone, and then the food. Huh. Their creativity is very artful.
Absolutely. Well, Bryce, we've been talking about lots of sorts of things. What types of things? I mean, I've been a lot of places and done a lot of things. What are your listeners like? What do they want to hear? What do they want to learn about? So maybe I could share some of that stuff.
You know what's cool about this show is we are cataloging the very best in food and wine. I say food and wine because it's our tag phrase. It's easy to say, but obviously I like bourbon and rye. Food and beverage anywhere in the world. So the idea is the more you share with us about all these amazing places like Yellow Dog Eats. I have in all these shows, I've never talked about Yellow Dog Eats because it just never came up in conversation. So now it's one more thing that's in our catalog. It's one more thing that we can go back to this episode and share with our listeners. Hey, listen, when you're in Central Florida, you got to try this.
Yeah.
So you've been all over the world. If you had to pick, I said Central Florida, hometown earlier, but anywhere in the world, if you had to pick one place anywhere in the world to go back to, I could snap my fingers and you're there right now eating that favorite dish, what would it be? All right, foodie fans, thanks for tuning in. Check us out next Tuesday for part 2 of this fantastic Foodies interview.
Bryce, you jerk. We want to know the answer.
Well, great. Hit subscribe.
Fine, but you're sleeping on the couch.